Is there stuff in my teeth?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What's up, guys? Nate and Sutton back with another video, and today we're flipping the script on Sutton. You guys came after me last time, asking all the questions that girls are too afraid to ask guys. Well, now the guys are coming after you. It's all the questions guys are too afraid to ask girls.
Yeah, we actually had no plans on doing this video, but on that one, there was some comments from guys saying, like, do this the other way around, and we were like, maybe we should do it the other way around. So we'll see how it goes.
And should we put the disclaimer out there?
We gotta put the disclaimer.
We're
taking
flashing
lights.
We're taking our disclaimers to another level.
The disclaimer is that I am answering these questions as myself, and I am not claiming to be every girl on the planet.
And just for your entertainment, even after saying this, scroll through the comments, and most likely you will still see people saying, I can't believe you're saying all girls feel this way. It's just, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, some of them I may answer as like me, and then what I would say that most girls would say, like that's kind of how he did his, just to make it a little more interesting, but I'm not claiming that I am every girl's answers.
If you go back and watch the video where I was the one answering the questions, I said this in the beginning of the video that...
I think you said it at the end, too. You said it twice.
Yeah, that this is just my opinion, and I'm not representing all guys. And still, we got so many comments, people being like, I can't believe you're saying guys feel this way. This is just Sutton's opinion, okay? All right, so let's do it. Does height matter to girls?
Yeah, for this one, I would hate to sound like shallow, but for me, I would say, yes, it matters to me. Not so much that it's like a deal breaker. Like, I've dated guys that I consider to be like on the shorter end. They're still taller than me, but like not much taller than me. And I dated them for like a year, so it obviously didn't bother me that bad, but it was always kind of there that like I wish that they were taller.
So if you met me with all that I am and I was shorter or the same height as you, how do you think that would have affected our relationship?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a deal breaker. Like, if I knew him and he was all that he is, I would still be with him. But it would always be there. Like, it would always be in my mind, like, I wish you were taller. Because I feel like for me, I'm maybe on the taller end for a girl. I'm like 5'7". And so I just don't want to feel like I am like the big masculine one. Next to a guy that I'm with.
What's more attractive? Outgoing, crazy extroverts or a quieter, perhaps shy introvert?
I feel like I like a mix of both. Like one of my favorite qualities in someone is like being funny. I am so attracted, like in my friends, in him, anyone. I just love funny people, and I feel like I'm not really that funny. So maybe that's why I like it so much. It's because I want to laugh at somebody. So I like the outgoing, like crazy, funny kind of person. But then I also think there's something very attractive about being quiet and reserved and more like mysterious. But I would like that person to have the outgoing side, like not fully introvert, because I feel like that's hard to get to know and hard for me to personally connect with. I think a good little mix is the best.
How would you describe me?
You are a mix. I think you're overall introvert. But you have extrovert in you. It's just like, who gets to see it? Who gets to be the lucky one that witnesses his extrovert side?
Do you think I'm funny?
Yeah.
You do? Nice.
What, you don't know that?
I don't know.
Like, I'm always laughing at you.
When is leading a relationship too much?
Would you like have an example of what that would be like?
Maybe like always trying to make the decision, or always thinking that my choice comes before yours.
Yeah, I think that as a Christian leader, like if you're trying to be a biblical Christian leader, it's like God is leading you, and then you're leading your family and your wife. And if you're being all demanding and like, I don't know, not listening to her opinion too, I don't feel like you're leading in the way that God would want you to. I think that God made you guys partners and made you a team. And so you talk about things together, but ultimately I would say, I mean, we pretty much agree on everything. Like, if your values are aligned and your husband is leading you, like, you want to be led in that direction. I think in our whole 5 years of marriage, we had one time that I thought one thing hardcore and he thought something else hardcore, and we were not agreeing. And we asked our counselor, like, what do we do? Because I think one thing, he thinks another thing. This has never happened. And he was like, you guys need to decide, like, who's the leader, who's the decision maker, and you just have to go with what they say. So we chose Nathaniel, and his idea went.
It did?
Yeah. We want to pause the questions and take a second to thank Redeeming Love for sponsoring this video, which that just feels so surreal to say, because Redeeming Love, you guys have seen us like post about it on our Instagram a little bit, but I've read this book since high school like multiple times. This is like my favorite author, one of my favorite books. And
she even read this book to me on the beach.
Yes, I read it. I read it out loud to him on the beach because it is that good. I was like, you have to experience this book. And you liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good.
Me and my mom and my sisters have always said, like, when are they going to make this into a movie? When are they going to make this into a movie? They finally made it into a movie.
I can't, you see, because I'm gonna marry you.
You're gonna marry me. Take me away from here, give me the life I deserve.
You guys can watch it. It's coming out. By the time you see this, it will already be out. It came out on Friday the 21st. So we'll link it below. You can grab your tickets. And if you guys go see it, let us know what you think.
Yeah, and even for you guys out there, I would recommend watching it. Me and Sutton watched it together, and it was a super good movie. However, there are a couple sensitive scenes. You know, they get a little romantic that I had to turn my eyes away from the screen a couple times, but you can see it coming. So just watch out for that.
We just want to throw that in there because we made videos about that before. You guys know we're like super sensitive to that stuff. So just for complete transparency, we wanted to put it out there. But anyways.
Okay, back to the questions. Next question. Humble or cocky?
That's another one that I feel like could go both ways. Like, I would like someone that is overall humble, but they carry like a quiet confidence about them. Like, you look at them and you know they're confident. Like, you don't think like, oh, they're really insecure. But they're also not flaunting that about and talking about how great they are. It's just like, you just know how great they are because you're watching them, you know?
What is the first thing that a girl notices on a guy?
I definitely have top 3, which I feel like is a lot of things. But I would say height, eyes, and smile. More focus. I think in order, it would be the smile first. Like, teeth are a big deal for me. Mm-hmm. I like nice teeth.
Would you like a guy to go all out and say how he truly feels, or if he plays hard to get?
No. I don't like that hard to get stuff. I just like transparency and honesty. Like, that's what I told him in the beginning of our relationship is I am not about these games that people play. I don't like that. It's such a waste of time. Like, if you're dating to marry somebody, don't waste your time playing games. Like, just be straightforward. And if both of you are that way, you'll get where you're trying to go, like, way faster than you will if you're trying to play games.
Yeah, I would say if I could go back in time and give my younger self advice during the dating stage, it would be to not be worried about the whole playing games. Like, I really believed back in the day that, oh, well, if I show that I'm too interested, they're not going to like me and all this. And I think that was true for a lot of the times. But my advice would be, if you show them that you're interested and that you're just being genuine and authentic with how you feel towards them, and they don't like you, then it just wasn't meant to happen. It wasn't meant to be. So it's a great way of filtering out the weeds, you know, filtering out the ones that aren't meant to be your future spouse and getting to the one that is.
I also feel like it's so much more natural to be yourself and tell how you feel, and it's so much effort to try to play a game. Like, I don't think that comes naturally to us, like, play games. It's like, you're really thinking about it, like, well, should I answer him now or should I wait an hour? Like, who cares?
And on the opposite end of the spectrum, I believe that you could potentially meet the one that you're supposed to be with, and if you play these games, then it might not work out because they're not going to be about that. How can you tell when girls are flirting rather than just being nice?
That's a hard one because I do feel like, depending on the girl, that is hard to tell. Because some people are just, like, so nice that I feel bad for them when everyone thinks they're flirting with them, but really it's just how they are. But I would say, if I had to choose something, I would say maybe, like, touching. Like, if they're, like, laughing at you and, like, touching you, they're definitely trying to flirt with you. But if they're just, like, laughing at your joke, it could just be very innocent of, like, they're just laughing
Don't
at your
speak
joke.
too broadly now.
What?
Maybe you should say, if I'm touching you, then I'm flirting.
Oh, okay.
Does muscle mass matter?
To me, yes. And it's not like to some extreme extent, like you have to be the buffest guy ever. It's just like, do I want someone really skinny and frail? No. Do I want someone that I feel like has some strength? Yes. But that doesn't mean they have to be like so Hulk, like buff, you know? It's so weird talking like not about you specifically.
Do you compare yourself to other girls on a regular basis?
Regular basis in life, I would say no, but I would say the comparison trap comes through like Instagram, through pictures. When I'm like talking to girls, no, that doesn't happen. Like when I'm with friends or at church or wherever and I'm talking to people, I don't feel like I'm ever comparing myself, but it comes when I'm like looking at Instagram, like through filters and through certain poses and like how people make themselves look. I think we all kind of fall prey to that, unfortunately.
The evil of social media. Speaking of, if you guys are looking for a great Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, we just watched that last week, and I think that's something every person should watch. Do girls think it's odd if a guy prays for the meal on a first date?
Absolutely not. For me, I would say that would be super attractive to me if I was on a date with the first guy and he's bold enough to like pause what we're doing and say, I'm going to bless the food. I'd be like, wow, that's so nice. And I would hope most girls, I mean, you guys watching this channel, you're probably majority Christian, so I would think that the majority of girls that you would be interested in would like that.
How come you guys aren't straightforward with things?
This one's funny because this is the one, like, I kind of glanced over these questions at first and I saw this one and I was like, why do we do that? Like, I didn't know the answer. At first I was like, I don't do that. I'm not straightforward with things. And then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I do that sometimes. I think we all do. But I asked my sister, I'm like, why do we do that? Because I didn't know. And she had a great answer. She said, because girls tend to have a more like passive aggressive personality, which I think is true, where guys are more just like tell it like it is, straightforward, and girls are more in-depth thinkers, to where if we say something, like my example was I had to go to urgent care one day and I wanted Nathaniel to keep the boys so I could go by myself. And like we were kind of going back and forth about it, trying to make a plan. And I was like, never mind, I'll just take them. Like thinking he would know, okay, she doesn't want to go to an appointment and sit there for an hour with two little kids running around. Maybe I should watch them. But he just took it for what it was of what I said. And he was like, oh, you're going to take them? Okay, great. See you when you get back. And I was like, oh my gosh, like just like seething mad that he didn't catch on that I'm being sarcastic. So I feel like we kind of think, like when we get annoyed about something, we maybe bring out some sarcasm and assume that the guy will pick up on the sarcasm and know what we really want, but it just doesn't happen because guys just take it for what it is. So lesson to everyone, maybe we should not do that. And lesson to the guys, maybe you should pick up on that if we do it.
Stick to reality here. Okay, next question. Does it matter how much money you have?
For this one, for me, I would say no. Your amount of money at the time that you're dating, I would say doesn't matter. But what does matter would be your drive and like, do you have something going for you? Like, if I was dating a guy and they didn't have a job or like didn't have anything they were passionate about or no goals or anything like that, I'd be like, okay, maybe I want to rethink this. But if they're like driven and passionate and like have all these things that they want to do, then I feel like the amount of money that you have at the time that you're dating doesn't matter, as long as you know that if you marry them, you're going to be like financially supported.
What is a quality about guys that they may think is unattractive, but to girls is attractive?
The first thing that comes to mind, which I think is super silly, is I feel like guys, maybe have a very polite and like considerate personality, but they may think like, no, girls like the bad guys. Girls like when guys are like rude to them, which some people do, and I just think that's so silly. So I find it very attractive when a guy is like that, considerate and polite and like respectful to you. But like we said, I'm not every girl, but I just don't think that those are the girls you should be going for. Oh shoot, my hair. Did it look like this? I mean, I didn't do anything to it.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. I can't see it from the front, but it's 100% falling down.
What?
It can't look like this.
Why not?
Oh my gosh, you have to watch that. Oh my gosh, how long has it been like that? Like the whole thing could be bad.